You are now listening to the Art of Reinvention podcast show hosted by none other than your boy TeflonJohn and co-hosted by your girl Alexis D. Monae. This is part 2 to our critical series, The Stigma of Mental Illness. And if you haven't heard the first part, I suggest you go do that. It's episode number 50. And I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this second part of this 2-part series. One love. Be blessed. You're now listening to the Art of Reinvention show hosted by your boy TeflonJohn, where my goal is to change the world one person at a time by provoking thought. And you're now in the right place to receive motivation, inspiration, so you can make it throughout your day, so you can make it throughout your week. And so like I said, I just want you guys to sit back and just absorb all the content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed. Like you were saying, don't take the negative approach. Because I used to be one of the most negative people like there was. To where my mom used to like say, I wish you could hear yourself. But I was just used to, for years, things not working out. If I applied for a loan, like I didn't look to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like if something was going down, I was like, yeah, something going to happen. It's going to be a catch-2 or catch-22 or whatever. Or, like if I went to play sports or something was going to happen. Or you think you're going to make the team? I don't know, I guess. Because I didn't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just the fact of that feeling of neglect or what's the other word? Like I didn't make it. Like disappointment. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I used to hate feeling that. Like, so I would just not try anything.
Yeah, I was almost exactly like that. So many negative things had happened to me. I was just so used to it going bad. So I'm like, if something good kind of come out of this, I'm happy as the Dickens. I'm trying to watch my words around these pots. I don't want to slander your brand.
Yeah, you doing good.
But I always saw everything in a negative light, and I noticed that I was negative Nancy. Now, I will tell you, being in the prison environment, you don't realize how negative you can be. But when you're around a lot of people that are miserable, and then you're, in a negative environment, you have to figure out how to be that positive energy. But I got into a real funk. I mean, that was even when I went through my depression. I went through my depression state when I worked in the prison. And it was just because I had no outlet. Like, everything around me was negative. My kids were whining, crying. I was trying to go to school, doing dial-up internet. I was running to McDonald's to get my schoolwork done. Go back home. Mom was OCD. Had to always keep the house clean. Went to the prison, stuck confined in a booth, catering to somebody else's needs. I never had a release. And that's when I mentally broke. I learned you have to have that release. But I was always in a negative energy. I always thought the worst was going to happen. But then I changed my outlook on things. I'm like, you know what? No matter what happens to me, God always makes a way. And, I'm not the most religious person, but I do live by that.
Yeah.
I mean, God, every time. So I used to always stress about money. I'm tired of being broke. Like, that was my thought process. Every time I turn around, I ain't got no money in my pocket. I'm always worried about this, worried about that. I was driving myself into a hole by just being worried about what was going to happen and not realizing every time I go through a struggle, good always comes out of it.
Yeah, it's always a lesson. There's always something.
Exactly. But I always looked at it as something negative is always going to happen. And I was just a big ball of negative energy. When you would talk to me, I had nothing positive to say. Girl, I'm so sick of this, man. I'm tired of this. My kids getting on my nerves. Like, if just by you saying hi, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Girl, let me tell you, I got this going on, that going on. My head hurt, my back hurt. My tire blew in my car. I didn't have anything positive to say to you. And negative energy feeds negative energy. Feeds. They say misery loves company, but as soon as I get the opening up, they're like, girl, let me tell you, I had this. Yeah. This man did this. That girl, did you see that child? Her nappy head. Like, just negative conversation. You have to be around positive people that's going to uplift you.
Yeah, you got to be around people that make you feel uncomfortable for the way you think.
Yeah.
Because if you are thinking that way and you don't want anything out of life and you feeling depressed and you're in an environment where that's comfortable, yeah, and you got to get out of that. Because you need something that like you said, having a goal or seeing somebody like, yeah, that's what I want to be next year.
Something
Or
uplifting.
or I want to be that positive, or I want to be like that. And then learn from them. Because if you're in an environment where you always pouring out to everybody, pretty soon who's going to pour back into you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like if you always pouring out, you know what I'm saying, emotion or being there for everybody else, you need somebody to be there for you. Like this year, like I've been linking up with people that's like-minded. So I'm not hearing like, oh, you can't do that, or why you doing this crazy stuff, or why you want to do that. I'm actually with people that I can throw out my wildest thoughts. And they say, yeah, man, well, you can do it. And I'm not used to that. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes like uncomfortable, but it's a good uncomfortable. Because normally I'm used to like somebody coming back as a realist and not really crushing your goals, but you're throwing your methodology off on me, like the way I should think.
Yeah, but that feeds me. So like somebody saying, girl, you can't do that, or you talking about going back to school. How you going to get your degree kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I remember,
you just gave me my fuel. I'm going,
yeah.
Just because you said that, I'm going to do that. Even with my mom coming up, mama would say, you can't do this. Like, hell, I can. I'm going to show you I can.
Yeah,
like,
I remember when you was going to school and you was asking me, I was like, you got to do it while you can. I mean, that's my whole, like, do it when you, like, once your mind's ready to do it, do it.
But
because you never know when that energy has changed.
Exactly. But if a person isn't in a good headspace and they have somebody that's always positive, you're like, I wish this so-and-so would shut up. Every time I turn around, he always smiling. I always got something happy to say. I mean, that's how a negative person thinks. So you have to try to get on their level in a sense, but not, taken away from you. But
yeah, you
not
gotta
always
introduce it to them slowly.
Yeah,
because it can come off. Because some people are trying to think of how to say this. Because you got the whole Nipsey. Yeah, like that can be a whole different episode. But the whole Nipsey Hussle thing, to where this dude's he's going back to his hood, so to speak. Figuratively speaking, and giving back. And really doing what most people are not doing. But I think that by him being something great and giving back to his community, he's making the other people, it's shining a light internally. Like, you know what? Compared to him, I'm not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you're seeing where he got, instead of asking him, how did you do that? Or asking him for more opportunity. Now, this hate turns into envy. Yep. And I think a lot of people do that, man. And it's like they fear what they can't do, and so they'll try to talk you out of it. Because it's almost like you asking me, you know what I'm saying, can I have a baby? I'm like, nah, I mean, I can't. There's no way I can possibly do that. You feel what I'm saying? But if you ask me something from the perspective of a man, you might, the answer might be no. But if something's possible, you know what I mean?
Realistic.
Yeah, if something's possible or realistic, I just think it hasn't been done yet. Like the thing with the sex offenders, or like the Wright brothers trying to fly an airplane. It just hadn't been done yet. But I think that so many people, like some people don't want you to pass them. You know what I'm saying? Because then you won't be under them. You won't need them, or they won't be big brother or big sister. You know what I'm saying? Or the big homie. But I think it's a percentage of people who they just believe because they couldn't do it, it can't be done. So you don't even try. And they pack, because there's been a lot like stuff I've never done. I almost didn't become a personal trainer due to talking to a dude. There was a personal trainer and gave me all these horror stories. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, like, hold on. I've never let me give it an honest shake, because I'm listening to what you're saying and I haven't even tried it. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we do that. Like, you having kids going back to school will motivate other girls to do it. Because sometimes you feel like, and I think you are told and drilled in your head, once you have a child in your life over. I don't believe that.
No.
You know
that's my motivation, because I want to prove.
Yeah.
That's what motivated me. Not only getting out of uniform, but to show my kids. I wish I thought my child would come to me and say, Mama, I can't go to college. Yes, you can. I went to college with 3 kids. The day they come to me and say it, they're going to wish they had kept them words in their mouth, because I'm going to let them know. I went through it, and I want to be an inspiration for my kids. So I try to inspire them. So a lot of things that I do, I think about my kids to motivate them to want to do it, so they can't say, because if I was to come to them and say, you going to college, they'd be like, well, mama, you didn't go to college, you didn't get a degree, how you gonna make me go?
Exactly.
And you got a decent job.
Exactly.
I have to lead by example, and that's why a lot of things that I do is driven by the motivation to want to inspire my kids.
Yeah, and I think that's how you break the cycle of mental health issues, a percentage of them. Because you take every excuse away because you've seen it. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been to Hawaii, never seen the palm trees, like, but I know it exists because other people talked about it. I've seen pictures, you know what I'm saying? So I think when some people go through a dark time, some people, that's, all they know is what they see. All I know is the hood. All I know is not having enough, not having nothing to eat, struggle. I've never seen anybody make it. I've never seen anybody like go hungry for 3 days and then on the 5th day or the 6th day get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So some people before they reach that point, they'll just end everything. Take other people's lives. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen a good marriage work. I've never seen, a good mother-father or a mother-daughter relationship. And like I said, because they haven't seen it, I think when you expose them to like different aspects of life and you expose them to people like me and you telling our stories, then I think the depression goes away, the anxiety goes away, because they say, look, if they made it, I know it's possible. But I think when you're in that boat by yourself and you haven't exposed yourself to a different circle of people that can show you like, hey, this is possible. Like the person that's treating me now, or the person that's my, what do you call it? The professional or your client, what do you call it? Like if I was to check in, like who would I see? Like when I come see you? Like, what is your title?
Oh, I'm a mental health case manager.
Yeah. So my mental health case manager used to have mental health issues. So now,
that's not the first thing I lay on the table. Like,
no,
hey,
I'm just saying. But when you see that though, you in your mind, you already know there's an end to what I'm going through. Because if she made it through, then I can make it.
That is true. But like you said, you gotta give it to them easy. So if I'm coming to you for help, and I'm already thinking a person with mental illness is somebody that's crazy or psychotic or whatever. And then I come in here seeking help and you say, I'm just as crazy as you are. So, I mean, like that could steer people away. So you have to learn the type of people
I think it's the way you deliver it.
Yeah.
Because I remember like playing football and just going through a lot of stuff at home with my stepdad and my mom. And when somebody said these words that I was talking to, yeah, man, I've been through that, man. It's going to be all right, but it's going to take time. That took like, I say 40% of the pressure off because I felt like it was no end, you know what I'm saying?
And
like
it's only happening to you.
Yeah, and so when they said that, I'm like, oh, man. Because I'm looking at them like, oh, man, I would have never known had you said something. Yeah. And so then that gave me like this, I wouldn't say it gave me a goal, but it gave me this almost like an ending. If I hang in here, this is what my ending could possibly be like. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude is coaching and working around kids, but at one point he was a child that was getting mistreated, abused, or, you know what I'm saying? And you would never know it. So I think we've been going for a minute, you know what I'm saying? We're going to come back, you know what I'm saying, with another episode. So is there anything you would like to say, you know what I'm saying, to close out, any closing remarks or anything with the mental health? Because I think this is a very powerful topic. You know what I'm saying? I think we covered a lot of ground, but is there anything that you want to get out? Anything that you want to make sure that people hear?
Well, I did kind of want to touch base on something that you said, and when you were talking about what you're used to or being in the home. Mm-hmm. If you're brought up around somebody that has mental health issues and you saw that they didn't get any medications or seek medical treatment, that doesn't mean that because that's what they did, that's what you should do.
Exactly.
If you feel like you can't deal with your symptoms or you're feeling down more than you're feeling up and you just can't motivate yourself to do,
can't get right,
you need to seek help. Because it's a stigma to admit that you have a diagnosis, and that's just by society. But yet again, I will say that the person that you should fear the most is the person that's not actually seeking the help.
And I agree. Like I said, I would just want to say, just like you said, I mean, no one goes to the hospital unless they need to get treated. And I think that that first step is just admitting there's something wrong. Not even that you have a problem, just something's not right. Something's not wrong. Something's wrong because I think you get that hunch and you feel like I can't control this feeling. Why am I feeling sad? Or, why am I feeling angry? When you start to feel like that and you can't control your emotions, it could be something simple like she said, just talking, But I think you should deal with it early.
Yeah.
Because when you bottle it up and you got kids, you could just explode and hurt your child. Now you're dealing with a different issue.
And then you regret that for the rest of your life. But self-medicating with substances, I've seen that more than a little bit. Like, you're self-medicating, you're using heroin, you're smoking cocaine or sniffing powder or whatever substance you choose as your outlet, as your release. Later on in life, that's going to catch up with you. So you think you're dealing with depression now and you're doing substances to try to help you cope with that.
Causing more
Next
problems.
thing, you're going to hear voices and see things, and you're not going to be able to come back from that. So you're eating your brain up when you're trying to cope with one problem to feel better, but it's a temporary fix. It's not going to be... It's going to have long-term effects in the future. A lot of people that I deal with, now they have schizophrenia or they go into psychosis because of the damage that they've done to their brains from using substances for so many years. And they were just doing that to ease the pain that they were dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And that's not
sad, man.
The route to go. Now, I'm not saying that medications don't have long-term effects or side effects for that matter.
I think it's the reason why you're on it.
Yeah.
Is all that matters.
Yeah.
Because if you're on it to get back in balance and to get some type of, daily balance, chemical balance back, versus I'm just on this so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
What you fail to deal with will deal with you. Like I said on the Facebook Live, if you don't blow the candle out before you go to bed, you can burn your house down.
Exactly.
And I just think that sometimes the first key is just forgiving yourself. Some people they didn't go through the divorce, or they didn't go through the whole, mom beating dad or dad beating mom. But I think by them being a product in it, they never talked to anybody. They feel like it was their fault. And they took, like, when you watch, what's the joint that come on A&E? Where they show them like addicted to all these drugs and all this stuff. I forgot what it's called. But normally you'll find like the root cause of what, where they show like the pictures where they were normal, then they got on meth. And if you listen to their story, you can see why they got to where they were. Something small happened that they didn't deal with, and it ended up dealing with them.
And talking to a therapist can help that.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a release, or for you to be able to express yourself and try to get to the root. Because a lot of times you don't know what the root is. And I didn't mention this, but when I went through my depression state, I said, this is just what I said. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to go sit in front of them white folks and tell them all my business for them to look down on me. I mean,
that's real,
that was my thought process.
That's real. That keeps people from going. Just that thought process.
And so when I sat down in front of this lady, I'm going to tell you, she may have said every bit of 2 words to me. And I'm sitting there pouring my polar heart out, boo-hooing and crying. Just little trigger words. Things that I didn't even know bothered me. I was able to express or realize, you know what? I was putting on a facade like, that don't bother me like that. And that they can't hurt me.
Yeah.
But me sitting there talking about it to this lady that I did not know, didn't know anything about me.
And she couldn't pass judgment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But she was able to help me see some of the things just by listening to what I had to say and pulling information out of me, for me to realize that it was more underlying issues than I thought. I mean, it was a stress brought on depression. That was true indeed. But it was a lot of things that led up to me for me to get to that point. Yeah, and she was able to get that out of me. So
Yeah.
me just sitting there talking, it felt like a
And it's
weight
that
was
feeling,
lifted
yeah.
off of me. She did give me a ball that I could have threw upside the head, but it was like one of the stress balls. He'd do this. I was so frustrated with it was like one of those stretchy ball things or whatever. And she was like, just play with this. Do this, do that. I'm like, heifer, I ain't trying to play with your
I feel
daggone
you.
ball. But
I feel you.
talking to her definitely did
Makes
help.
you feel better, man.
And I went and talked to her maybe 2 sessions.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying because I couldn't afford to pay for the sessions was why I stopped, because I still had one more that was free.
Yeah.
But after 2 sessions, I felt
Yeah.
10 times better.
Yeah, because I like the job I used to work at was so bad. You know what I'm saying? I was going through this crazy thing on the job, and I went to EAP. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole, you can go talk to a mental health.
Emergency.
Yeah, it's something free with the job. Like if you ever need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And so I went to
They
that
said the
joint.
number on the back of your card. That's what they used to tell me.
Yeah.
Go, girl, get that number on the back of your card and go get your help.
Yeah, because and I went over there and, just talking, and I just found out, like, some of the things I don't like. Like, by me being a nice guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows my past if they've been in my life since, like, 2004. So a lot of people don't know nothing prior to that. So it's hard work for me becoming a nice dude, turning the other cheek, being a bigger person. And that's just by me going through a lot of stuff as a teenager. Like, I'm not an arguer because it's either 0 to 10. So me, I'm not going to engage in it because within 2 seconds, something dumb could happen.
Yeah.
And, through talking to the lady, part of my frustration, like, or a percentage of my trigger would be when someone takes my kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
And they know,
consider you a pushover because you're
yeah,
not
yeah, because
responding.
I'm not saying nothing. And it's like, and she really helped me to see, like, by me having self-control and not really responding, I'm really showing that I'm control of my own emotions. So I shouldn't feel like I'm losing a battle because I don't want to give in.
Yeah.
Because it would be detrimental to everything I went through. Like the anger issues, spouting out, cursing people. And people don't know, like, this is stuff I used to do. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy doing it. Like, don't stare at my face. You know what I'm saying? And I look at that now and it's like, how would I be a father and all this other stuff if I was still that dude?
Exactly. You
And
wouldn't
so-
be an example for them.
Yeah,
Not a
because-
positive one anyway.
Yeah, because people, like, and then what throws me off is if I get to that point, it would shock them to the point where they would think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Cause it'd be like, yo,
That's
you know what I'm
not
saying?
his norm.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
like the talk for like 3 days, but it's like, it's hard, man. Like it's hard to do that because you need to release at times. But I think that some people don't respect when you're trying, and not even, like I said, just being a good dude. But you may be in a run, or you may have an issue that you're like, yo, I'm gonna try to work on it. But some people won't applaud your effort. You know what I'm saying? And that could be frustrating when you say, look, I got this problem, but I'm going to work on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're getting better, but all they do is point on the 2% that you're not doing.
Yeah. And people don't want to give props when props are due, just like women don't want to say you got a nice outfit or you got a pretty face or you got hair. Like, did you see that child with that wig on? I mean, it's a lot of people that hate on other people because they don't want them to have one up on them. But you just have to work on yourself. You have to focus on yourself.
That's what you
Whatever
gotta do.
issues you have going on, it's all up to you to seek the help that you need or reach out to whomever. Just call and say you're longing for the relationship. I mean, you didn't really have a close relationship with your father. You may have internalized that, and that may be something that really deep down, even though you may not want to admit, that bothers you, but reaching out to him and maybe he may respond with open arms, and that could be a weight lifted off of you. But if you don't reach out to see, or if you're suffering with mental health issues and feel like there's no way out and have just given up on yourself, if you don't reach out to somebody for help, how will you know if that would have changed anything?
And I think you like dealing with that, like as far as me, like I'm 35, you know what I mean? But in my heart somewhere is a 7-year-old, 8-year-old that wants a relationship with their dad. And I used to lie to myself daily because some people around me would say, yo, I don't know how you do that. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, well, this ain't your situation, so I would change my expectations based upon other people. You know what I'm saying? So it had to take me to realize what I wanted to do about that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be hurt. But I couldn't let other people dictate how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Because people would make me feel bad because I wanted to give him a chance. So I still wanted him to be in my life. So then I would kind of change the way I felt about him, or not really about him, about just the warning or the amount of effort I would put into it based upon what other people would say. But I think that until I identified and put a label on, like I do want, and it does bother me, then I got better. You know what I mean? Because I think that one problem that I had there growing up, it really put a difference in every relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a problem with like any type of male authority. I had a problem with that. And then what eventually happened was when I would date women, because I was respectful to my mom and everything, they would get over, treat me any kind of way, and I wouldn't do anything because there was the respect I had for a woman, because I had like I identified that with somebody that protects me, somebody that loves me. With a dude, it was always a catch. Yeah. Whether it be a coach, a supervisor, like once it went south, then I was going in. But for a female, I couldn't react. Why you let her dog you? Why you let her walk over? You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that balance because that's what I identify with. A female was like kind of like a mother figure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think until I realized that I actually wanted my dad in my life and it bothered me, that's when it got better. Because now I was lying to myself. It just kept me from dealing with it. It's kind of like if something's on fire and you keep saying, nah, ain't no fire. Eventually it's going to burn everything.
Yeah.
But if you admit that it's on fire, now you're going to go get the fire extinguisher, get the water, and want to do something about it to put it out. But I think part of my problem was by me negating that and then listening to other people, that fire just grew greater and greater. Yeah. And like emotionally, it affected certain aspects of me building relationships with other people.
But when it comes to helping somebody, you can't really put your views on how you feel the situation should go out because you don't know what that person is really going through. So say, for instance, you're in a domestic violence or you're being abused on a regular basis. Somebody on the outside looking in like, girl, you better get the hell out of there. Why are you letting this man beat your tail every day?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then you're like, well, I love him. I mean, this is the man that I want to be with. Most people would be like, girl, you stupid. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But some people are there because they have nowhere else to go.
You're right.
This is the sacrifice that they're making. And not saying that it's right. I mean, there are other options. There are shelters. But some people don't want to go that route. They don't want to be put in a shelter. Like, I'm at the bottom if I'm in a shelter. But you don't feel like you're at the bottom when you're getting your tail beat every single day or whenever he feels like
about
it.
Perspective.
Yeah. But some people they're there and they come to me and they say, I have nowhere else to go. Like, he emotionally abuses me on a regular basis. He always talks negative to me. He's just bringing me down. You don't think that will push you further to the edge than hitting the bottom and being in a shelter? At least you have a peace of mind. So it's all in how you view it, but you can't put your views on how you feel a situation should play out for someone else unless it's hurting them. And being abused, you're hurting yourself. He could get on you and don't get off, and that is the end for you. I mean, so you have to look at the situation and not just push your views on how you feel that the situation should be or what you feel that they should do. You have to let a person make their own decisions for themselves, and that's what a professional does. They're not going to say, you have to do this, or this is what you're going to do, or that kind of thing. You have to give them
personal
options
beliefs or anything like that.
Yeah, or what a better situation for them. But you have to give them options, because a person, if I come to you and say, Jonathan, you're going to have to go to work tomorrow, make a whole lot of money, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to
respond good to that.
Yeah. But if I say, Jonathan, I'm going to help you, link you to this person to help you get to work tomorrow. You're going to go, you're going to enjoy your day at work. You're going to come back home. I'm going to make sure I have transportation to pick you up from work and get you back home. Like, I'm linking you to things to help your situation out. But if I don't give you options or try to help you along the way, me telling you what you should do, if you're not going to help me, then don't tell me what to do. So if somebody come to me and say, girl, I'm broke, ain't got no money, I'm not gonna respond. Cause heifer ain't got none neither, so ain't no need for me to give you any input if I can't help your situation. That's the same thing with coming with the mental health professional. If you can't help my situation, then don't even speak on it. Don't try to guide me or whatever. If you don't have resources such as linking them to social services for housing or Section 8 or finding vacant apartments for them to apply for or helping them get transportation with Medicaid or linking them to the hospital when they feel suicidal, whatever the case may be. If you don't have those resources to help them, then don't even give your input. If you're not going to help my situation, I don't even want to hear your thoughts. And if I'm coming to you saying, girl, he get on my nerves, I can't stand him, I don't necessarily want you to respond. That's just my way of releasing. I'm letting my energy out. And tomorrow, girl, I love this man. I'm going to marry him. I mean, it's just a lot of times people don't come to you for your advice. They just come to you as a way to release. And then once they get that release, that's all they needed from you. But a lot of times people just feel, because you came to me with this, I'm going to give you my opinion anyway, whether you like it or not, because you should have kept it to yourself if you didn't want me to say nothing. I mean, people have the wrong views, and a lot of times family members does that. They come to you with a problem, figuring, I could talk to my family. They're not going to judge me. I'm just going to be able to say what I want to say. But they going to give you that input. Girl, you stupid as hell. You should have left him a long time ago.
And they would go through the same thing and wouldn't say nothing.
Exact. Or you crazy. You talking about hearing voices. You crazy fool. I mean, people. So a lot of times just listen. Just hear a person out. When they're going through something, don't give your input.
Just learn to listen.
Just listen to them. And a lot of times that is all they need because...
Yeah, it makes me feel better, man. Like, even for mental health, like you have a bad day, somebody can listen. But it's nothing like when you really need to talk to somebody. And like you said, they trying to fix that joint. They trying to, and all you like, hey, look, you making it worse. I'd rather go deal with what I was dealing with.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Your body language means a lot too. Eye contact. Even giving them, paraphrasing, giving them a little bit of what they just gave you to let them know
that you understand.
I hear you. But when you're just talking to me and I'm tapping on my phone, it's like, why did I even come to you? Like, you're more frustrated by sitting down trying to carry on a conversation with them to release. Now you're angry at this person along with whatever problems you came to them with.
Exactly.
If that person is, I mean, just because that person shuts you out and don't want to hear you out, that doesn't mean don't go to the next person that may listen to you. Or, I mean, just reach out to whomever just to have somebody to be in your corner or feel like you have the support that you need. And I mean, a lot of times if you see somebody going through something, just reach out to them and let them know, hey, I do hear you, or I do see you got something going on, or I'm just letting you know, hey, I love you. I mean, just let them know that you care. And a lot of times that is all it takes to make a person feel better when they're feeling at their worst or at the bottom.
To save a life.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean,
all it takes to save a life, man.
Yeah, it may take a little more. I mean,
but sometimes,
depending on
people,
what they have going on.
Yeah, like when I did my first motivational video, and the lady, she, this is how I really got into this whole podcast, just doing the videos. She actually said, she hit me up a week later, said, your video really inspired me and helped me because I found my son hanging from a tree. He killed himself. So I'm like, wow, like something that I thought was so small that I was going to just put out and post. But I was going to, I had deleted it 3 times. When I finally put it out there, it hit her. But she said, I missed the sign. So I'm thinking, let's be proactive instead of reactive. Like us doing this show, it's going to touch so many people because we being open, we being raw. And if we giving out so much content and so many options, somebody's got to be helped by that. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Because
in a lot of cases, it's because they didn't know. I mean, not that they don't want the help, but they just didn't have the resources or didn't know which way to turn or where to look for the help. And a lot of times people just want to know I'm not alone. Everybody goes through something. They may not be going through exactly what you're going through at this point in time, but they may have came from where you are now and they've gotten through it with help.
Yep.
I mean, you can't do it alone, and you may feel like you're the strongest person in this earth. If I didn't have my family supporting me when I went through my depression state, or the love that I had for my kids, if I didn't have that, there were times where I wanted to go to sleep and not wake up. I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything drastic to kind of push myself to that point.
Yeah.
But I just wanted this feeling to go away.
Yeah.
And I can't even explain to you what the feeling was like.
Yep.
I just felt like I just did not want to exist. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
It wasn't hurt. It wasn't pain. It was just,
And
I
some
don't even want to be here.
I think some people should feel privileged that somebody came and told them that. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, like when I was in school, when I was feeling that way, you know what I'm saying? I was sleeping through tests, and when I finally told my teacher, I'm like, man, look, I feel like killing myself. This is during track season, man. The way they reacted, which I know they had to do it in a professional manner, but it wasn't the way I would have done it for a child. I would never tell them anything else. You know what I'm saying? They took my lunch away from me, had me eating with paper and plastic forks, and you know what I'm saying? The way they just made me feel like, yo, you should have never said nothing. You know what I mean? And so I think, like, as a professional, I understood, okay, yeah, you gotta take it seriously. You gotta do what you can to save a person's life. But I think it's nothing like somebody coming to you telling you or crying, pouring their heart out. And like you said, you're not paying attention, you playing on your phone, or you telling them, it's not that bad, I've been through. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like that feeling to where you're like, great. I'll never tell you nothing else.
Yeah.
And then you'll wonder why when everything goes down, you didn't know. You didn't know anything about it.
One thing, I mean, I understand your point of view, but take into account the other person's point of view. Can you imagine someone coming to you and saying, I want to kill myself? Would you freak out?
Yeah, I would. You know what I'm saying?
would-
That's why looking back, I see now, like,
Yeah.
from a professional, like, how often it's happening now. Yeah, you would want to shut that down quick.
So everybody has to keep in their mind whether it's the helper or the person that needs the help. Now, you feeling like you don't care about anything, you're not really caring what I'm thinking. But now that you're in the right state of mind and you're in a good headspace, you have to look back and say, how did that make that person feel? Or for them to react at all, that showed that they really wanted to do what they needed to do. And a lot of times you don't want the blame to be on you. So say a client comes to me and say, I'm thinking about killing myself. And I'm like, you know what? You say this every time you come in here and you ain't done it yet. So I'm not going to take you serious this time. I mean,
Yeah.
But you have to take, anytime somebody says that to you, you have to take it serious, because I couldn't imagine going to sleep knowing that this person came to me for help and I failed them because I felt like this is just what he does. He always saying this. He not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
You have to take, anytime somebody says anything about suicide, I'm cutting myself, that is a serious matter, and you don't want that to be on you. And a lot of times the reason why people react the way they react is because they don't know. I wouldn't have, if I hadn't have been through so many crisis situations within my career, I would be freaking out. And I remember the first time I sat and somebody told me that they felt like they wanted to harm themselves. I'm ready to jump up out the seat. I'm like, I'm sitting in here with this person by myself. What do I do? Who do I call? I didn't know. So I probably shook him up just for the fear of what he could do in front of me.
Yeah.
And now maybe he wouldn't want to open up to anybody anymore. Because it's like, this heifer just as crazy as all get out because of how she reacted. But you try to stay calm. You try to not excite the person that's really going through something and be understanding.
Try to take that deep dive.
Yeah, but a lot of times people don't have that in them. I mean, it's like I gotta get the next person to them so that I won't have to worry about this, or I won't have to stress about it. And if they do it, it's not going to be on me. So it's both sides of you have to look at it from both perspectives. And I would like to think that anybody that's ever come to me for help, that I didn't steer them away and make them feel like I wasn't listening or I didn't care, because I've been through it. And if somebody had have made me feel like they didn't care or didn't want to help me or didn't have options for me or whatever the case may be, I mean, I may not be here today.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because I think when people listen to you, when people handle it the correct way, I mean, because, you know, like you said, going back, when I wasn't caring about anything, I didn't even care how you was going to feel about what I'm going to say. Like, I'm about to dump this big weight on you. And you know, I really don't care how it, you know, reacts. But I think that, you know, once you get a moment of clarity, like, you really are thankful that somebody really took out that time to really do that, because you don't know what's going to happen the next moment when you don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because all you need is the right trigger or the right situation or somebody to put that cherry on top of the ice cream, and then you're done. You know what I'm saying? And I just think, you know, because like I said, when you're in that boat, when you feel like, yo, this ain't ever going to stop, when this is going to end, sometimes you want to end it. I mean, and I think when people used to tell me, like, well, you shouldn't feel like that or jump on me for feeling like that, I just shut down, like, to even tell them anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn, like, you know what I'm saying, like, through prayer and stuff. That was one way that I would, you know, just pray, like, to, you know, to God to kind of keep my mind. But other than that, I couldn't find, like, the right people that would go to. Because once somebody start passing judgment, people don't realize, like, once you pass judgment, nobody's going to come back to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm confided in you and respect you enough. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be naked in front of you. I'm about to take everything off of it and be real. Like, this is how I really feel. This is what's going on. I respect you enough to tell you, can you listen to me? But people, I think they interpret that as, yo, this is what I'm coming to you for and I need you to fix it. Nobody really needs you to fix it right then.
Yeah.
But I think people just want that assurance that, yo, like,
there is help.
Yeah, because somebody go back,
for me.
like, yo, like, I feel better, man, but I got to go back and talk to my homie tomorrow, because talking to him, man, it really made me feel better. You know, he gave me some positive words. It's not like I went to him and he just made me feel worse. Like, he crushed me. Like, he made me feel like I want nothing. And I'm, you know, I should, you know, he made me feel bad for feeling the way I'm feeling or being the way I am. And I think that, in the Bible, like, it's a comparison that I use, like, when I'm dealing with training people and, you know, personal training. Like, when Paul was, like, writing a letter to the church of Corinthians, this is a church that had, like, all these different problems. So it's one thing where he says, like, you know, like, they're babes, you know, you can't give them meat, they ain't ready for meat, you give them milk. Basically, meet people where they are. And I think at times we try to meet people at the level we are at.
Yeah.
Not realizing that we were once there and you got to deal with them differently.
Yeah.
You don't treat a 10-year-old like you would a 6-month-old. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, even though it may be getting on your nerves, you got to nurture them. You got to get them to where they need to be.
And one thing that's hard to do with that is, unless you've been there, you don't really know how to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I can relate to a lot of them in a lot of situations, is because I know what I am at my worst. I know what it feels like to feel like there is no end and just in a negative headspace. And I could meet them where they are, or at least understand where they're coming from. And they're like, see it. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you did the same thing, or, you know, this is what happened to you. And, you know, and some of them may think she just saying that just because she just trying to get on my level. That didn't really happen to her. Yeah. But it's like, I can genuinely say what I felt in that moment. And I just felt like I was trapped. I had the things that I enjoyed doing, I no longer enjoy doing. I had no motivation. I had to force myself to get up and go to work every day. And that was only because I still had bills to pay. Yeah. But I had no desire or no motivation to want to do.
It get like that.
That is the worst place to be.
It is. That's like now with, I think when we deal with mental health, we always think about it in the negative aspects instead of the positive. Because normally when you think about physical health, you're always thinking about someone going from unhealthy to healthy. Let's talk about how to get to a healthy mind state and stay there. I think, like you said, having goals. Number one, if you got a goal, it ain't but so much that you're going to allow happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So if your goal is to get a new job, your appearance gonna be tight. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be learning, so you're gonna be occupied, so your mind's not gonna have time for a lot of stuff. And anytime like that I've been at my worst, you know what I'm saying, being honest with you, like I've been at my worst, I had so much idle time I would just think and create these different realities.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say I ever heard voices, but there was just this negative voice that would build, oh, they don't like you. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And you start to believe that because your mind you're not doing anything. And I think that when you got a goal to do whatever, to be the best, or you know what I'm saying, it occupies you and takes you to a different mental space. Now you can focus on and celebrate small victories. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care who don't feel me, but right now I'm feeling myself and I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? And you got to get to that point because I think people can tear you down. And that's just like if me and you were to fight right now. Like obviously you're sitting about 3-4 feet from me. So if you wanted to hit me, you probably can. I can probably hit you. But for me to tag my wife in a different room because she's further away, it's gonna be hard for us to hit each other. And I think in life we're often affected by the ones that's closest to us, the ones that have access to us, the ones that are available. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true.
Yeah, and I think it throws you off when you could have goals, dreams, and visions, and you can get these mental health clicks or small little symptoms because, like I said, you're being let down by the people closest to you. Or you feel like, you know, like you said, when somebody wants to just hear you out and they're looking at their phone or whatever. Yeah, that's why I never want to be too busy that I don't hear somebody, especially the ones that are closest to me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm going to be back here doing podcasts or editing or whatever, I'm going to make time, you know. So I think you got to be very careful with how you handle people and how you allow people to handle you. Because if you don't have any standards, set, then people will mishandle you. You'll get into this whole big depression. I see people in relationships and there's no standards. So they allow people to do things. They allow people to talk to them a certain kind of way.
They settle.
Yeah, but you think it's only in their relationship. Follow them on their job. Same thing. They let anybody do them. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just this one person. It's just I think you develop self-worth and you settle in that one environment where you feel like, okay, this is how I deserve to be treated. But I think it's all on how you interpret it. It's all on how you evaluate the situation. Because you're not your situation. You know what I'm saying? It's all training, man. Like everything that I went through made me to give you this information. If not, I ain't got nothing to give you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I have nothing to give you.
But when you were talking about goals for your mental health or trying to get yourself stable, first admitting that you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you see a change in yourself, I mean, you know you better than anybody else. So if you see that something's not normal or you may be crying more, don't say, well, I just got soft in my old age. If you're crying for no reason,
you got to check that.
That's a problem. And that's what I try to avoid. I'm just making excuses. Don't excuse it away. Admit that there is something going on and then try to figure out how you can get yourself in a better place. Yeah. If you can't do it on your own, maybe reach out to a family member. If they can't do it, then reach out to a mental health professional. But just keep trying to get the help that you need. And I mean, it's just going to take that right person to figure out or to collaboratively, I can't even say the word. I know what you're saying. Collaboratively come together and figure out what's the best option for you. But only you can decide what's going to help you because you know you and you're the only one that can accept the change. You can't change somebody that doesn't want to change, but you can point them in the right direction and you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's a good note to end on. Is just like it starts with you. Like you gotta want to change. You gotta find, because like you we really live in a world now where it's kind of cold, man. Like you turn on the news, people are selfish. So you gotta want, and you'll eventually run into a decent group of people, some decent health professionals, some decent people who wanna see you win, people that want to actually see you get better, because the reality of it is not everybody wants to see you win. You know what I mean? Not everybody wants to. And when I accepted that, it helps me deal with those responses better, because now my expectations aren't super high to where I'm going to be let down, disappointed, and it starts me over mentally. It's like, all right, well, I know this is going to happen, wrong person, but let me try somebody new. So what would you like to say just to close out the episode?
As far as ending it, something to keep in mind, there will be mild to moderate to severe symptoms that you experience. Some people that are on the milder side of their symptoms, they can seek help on their own, maybe along the moderate and severe lines. It will take somebody to step in to point them in the right direction, or to have somebody intervene. So if you can't seek help for yourself, if someone that observes somebody that's out of their norm, seek help for them. You can go to the magistrate's office and do an ECO, emergency custody order. They may be mad at you today, but a couple of days from now, when they're in their right state of mind, they'll thank you later because you could have did something drastic. So if you see somebody in need and you feel like they need some help, just contact the police department and say, can you come out and do a wellness check? Like, I see somebody that's acting out of the norm. Maybe they're walking around outside with no clothes on and saying they're burning up, kind of thing. It could be substance abuse, or it could be a mental health issue. So if you see something that's going on, speak up, seek help. Or if you feel like there's a change in you and it could be related to your mental health, seek help, or at least talk to somebody to say, hey, a friend of mine, if you don't want to admit that it's you, a friend of mine said they got X, Y, and Z going on, and see if maybe that person has been through it or knows somebody that's been through it, so that you can feel like you're not alone, or they could tell you what direction that person went in to get the help that they needed. Or it could be that person that you're talking to and they're in a good place now. So seek help if you feel that there's a need, if you feel a change in yourself, and if you see somebody in need, reach out for them if they can't do it for themselves.
That's what's up. Y'all heard her. That was Alexis D. Monae with TeflonJohn. Look, in this episode, we just want you to share it. Get it to somebody that really needs it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of content that was covered, a lot of ground that was covered. And I think that hopefully, prayerfully, this episode could save somebody's life. And this episode could really help get somebody the help that they need. For more motivational content, for more educational, inspirational content, visit my website, www.iamteflonjohn.com. And as I always say, one love, be blessed. We would like to thank you for listening to this episode of The Art of Reinvention by TeflonJohn. And we encourage you to share this episode across all your social media platforms. And we also encourage you to visit our website at www.iamteflonjohn.com and follow us on all our social media platforms at facebook.com/realteflonjohn, twitter.com/realteflonjohn, and instagram.com/realteflonjohn. And while you're on Facebook, go ahead and like our page so you can receive first-hand notifications every time we go live with the motivational video or any motivational content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed.